everybody, welcome back to the channel. Sorry it's been so long since I've tackled the SH MonsterArts line, with my SH MonsterArts collection video being as successful as it was. I kind of want to go back to the line and start from scratch. Last week was Godzilla's 67th birthday. I missed out on it unfortunately, but I did not forget. So today we're going to be reviewing the SH MonsterArts Godzilla 1954. So first things first, I want to take a look at the packaging design, and it's got the typical tear scratch mark box design that was popular at the time. The box is very simple and straight to the point. You got a nice promotional image of the SH MonsterArts Godzilla 1954, the OG Big G, and some nice window packaging there to show off the figure. It says Godzilla 1954 in red text, and of course you got the logos down here on the bottom right and all that good stuff. Now I do believe that this figure was reissued not too long ago, so some of you may get the authenticity sticker that's holographic from Tamashii Nations, as well as a blue Bandai logo, which if that is the one you get, do not be alarmed, that's just an updated reissue. Alright, let's take a look at the rest of the box. Here on the side here, you got one more promotional shot of Godzilla. And in case you didn't notice, this box is ridiculously large. For some odd reason, they decided to go big with this packaging, and when you consider that he is a bare bones release that comes with no accessories, it's kind of weird that they decided to make the box this wide. It's not very necessary, and I mean, all things considered, he would have been fine without such a big box, but that's the hill they decided to die on, and we're gonna move on to the actual figure. And here we have the original Godzilla from 1954 in all his glory. This one was sculpted by Yuji Sakai, and it really does show. This is a absolutely stunner of a sculpt. Alright, so now we're going to take a closer look at the sculpt, paint, and details. And first off, I want to say that this Godzilla is... This is one of my favorite MonsterArts actually, and it's not that hard to realize why. The sculpt here is beautifully done. Once again, Yuji Sakai hit it out of the ballpark with this one, and he looks gorgeous. Like, I really cannot stress enough just how much I love how good he looks. Granted, the articulation's what really shines for me, but I just want to take a look at the details and sculpt and everything here. Now, the head sculpt looks like the 1954 Godzilla, absolutely to a T. The neck looks great. All the sculpted details on the body just give off that kind of baggy suit that was originally created for the movie, and all these sculpted details on the skin really give that antique look. I didn't realize just how small the 1954 Godzilla's hands are, but here they are. I kind of see what they were going for with Shin Godzilla now. If you think about it, he kind of having his hands hold up like this, and it's not that far from what Shin had. But Shin's hands were a lot tinier, like T-Rex tiny. Moving down the rest of the body, we take a look here, and everything looks great. God, I love all the sculpted detail on the body, all those ridges, and that texture throughout the figure is really nice, really granular. It's got a nice rough texture to him, and it continues all the way down to the tip of the tail. Moving back up the figure, let's look at the dorsal fins here. And one thing I always loved about the 1954 Godzilla, and even the 1955 Godzilla from Godzilla Raids Again, is how jagged and uneven his spines were. Very asymmetrical, and I love that they sculpted him here to a T. Everything looks beautiful. Moving back up to his head, like, look at his ears. Yes, the original Godzilla had these very pointy ears, and they were pronounced. Something you wouldn't see again till, what was it, the Heisei Godzilla? After they did away with them after, what was it, 1955? So yeah, he's got those very prominent eyebrows, something that continued on in the Showa era. Always loved his eyebrows. And then his eyes. Now, the point of contention a lot of people will have with the eyes are how they're not, you know, looking straight at you. They're kind of a little bit goofy. He's got a little bit of the goofy going on. So yeah, I mean, one eye is looking straight while the other one's kind of looking off to the side. Now, if you look at him head straight on, he's gonna look a little derpy, but I think he's kind of cute. Look at him. Look at his smile. Yeah, he's so cute. Yeah, but seriously, it doesn't really bother me as much as it would bother some other figures in the line, considering how googly the eyes were in certain scenes anyways. They were kind of creepy in a way and unsettling. And something I really do love about this Godzilla is his eyes. Now, granted, it would have been a little better if the eyes were kind of looking downwards, although that probably would have just made the situation worse. But at least with this, you're able to have him looking straight on in one side, while the other side you can have him kind of looking downward at people like, y'all gonna die. Yeah, so looking at the teeth, one thing I really do love about this guy is his teeth. And he's got some nice fangs here. And the teeth are done with a gray paint. Now, if you're gonna notice something throughout this figure is how there's pretty much no color besides the grays and the whites used here. And that's because they wanted to replicate the whole black and white feel of the movie. And since this guy was never really seen in the movies in color, they just wanted to replicate that look. And I mean, it's obvious by looking at his tongue that it's gray, how his nails aren't even painted. Maybe take a look at the feet. I mean, the feet are painted nicely, right? What do you think? The toes are painted pretty nicely. I think they're done well. So yeah, I mean, I see what they were going for and I appreciate it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Although some will say in terms of coloration and painting, the NECA did it better. Some would also say the sculpt was better with the NECA, into which case I must ask, what alternate universe are you people living in? Alright, so we got a nice fine look at the paint details and sculpt. What about the articulation? Well, I'm so glad you asked, because I'm going to tell you. The body on this Godzilla moves really well. First off, let's start with the head. There's a lot of articulation points in the neck, all ball jointed around here, and there is a gap here at the back of the head, but that's honestly nothing you can't adjust the head to, fix, and hide, so that's not a big deal whatsoever. You can get Godzilla to look up real high as if he's checking out those helicopters whizzing about his head. He's just like, shut up, bitch, you wanna die? So yeah, I really do like how far up the head can go. It's probably something that wasn't even possible in the movie, considering how limited the original suit was in terms of movement. But yeah, the head can really get some good movement out of that neck. And it's pretty durable. I mean, if the head pops out, all you gotta do is just pop it back in. Open the mouth a good amount too. Look at how wide that opens. Jesus Christ, he's just gonna take a nip out of me. He's like, yeah. So he's beautiful. I love it. I love the neck articulation. One of the highlights for me. Moving down the body to the waist, you have some more articulation with the upper waist, although it is a bit on the tight side on mine. You may be a little hot water might fix that, but do note that the sculpt will start rubbing up against each other and you will get some degradation a little later on as those joints continue to rub up against each other here. You're gonna notice on mine in particular, there are some shiny areas where the sculpt was rubbing up against itself. So I mean, it's minor, it's not a big deal to me, honestly, but in terms of articulation for the waist, you can get him to look down and bend over, so that's always good. You can actually get him to stand up straight too. And can you get a little side to side too? Yeah, look at that. Focus. Yeah, look at that. You get him a little jiggy wiggy in a way. So yeah, lots of great articulation in the waist. The arm is probably where mine kind of falls off. If I try to turn it too much, the sculpt will interfere with it and it'll pop out. And this is an issue I've had since I got this figure a few years ago. Now, as you'll see here around the arm, once again, some shiny spots because of the arm rubbing up against the sculpt, which, you know, all things considered, it's a rough texture on the body. So that's gonna happen. But, you know, if it pops out, you just pop it right back in. The arm does have a bend at the elbow, although it is kind of limited because of that rough sculpt. So, at least on mine, you can't really straighten his arm on that one, but you can straighten his arm pretty well on this one. So that's always good. There's rotation there at the bicep too. On mine, and on the wrist, there is a ball joint there at the wrist, so you can swivel that around as well as get it to move like he's waving goodbye. For the legs, a lot of great articulation on the legs. You get them to spread them apart. Mine are a little loose, doesn't really hamper the figure too much. It's actually a good thing that it is pretty loose. Rotate those all the way around. You can spread them apart. There is a nice bend at the knee to straighten it out if you want. Get them to stand up a little more straight, as well as bend backwards that much. Never really had an issue with his leg. His feet here around the ankle, really good articulation here. Look at that. Good stuff. And this guy breaks my heart because I remember when the fire happened, a panel from my ceiling actually fell on top of him, so he was in pieces. I mean, like, his head was off, his arm was off, his leg popped off, his tail joints were all over the place, but I managed to find all the pieces and put them back together, no problem, and he was as good as new. And his tail has a great range of articulation. I mean, look at this. Lots of ball jointed segments in there, and it comes up to the tip here where it ends up being one solid piece. But other than that, I haven't had any issues in terms of articulation with his tail or for the rest of his body for that matter. He's a great figure, and unfortunately we have to move on to his downsides. He comes with no accessories whatsoever. No alternate hands, no beams, nothing. And that's unfortunate. However, if you've been collecting from this line, or if you know people that create custom effects, surely you could find a beam effect out there that works for him. Now, in particular, I'm just going to use an example. This is from the 2014 Spitfire Godzilla. It works. I mean, it works, right? This one in particular I like to use. This is from the 1964 Emergence Godzilla release. And once again, it works. There are ways you can get a beam effect for this guy. So if this one not having a beam effect is a deal breaker, then I don't know what to tell you. Now on to some size comparisons. Here he is with the aforementioned 1964 Emergence version Godzilla 1964. Did I just say 1964 twice? I think I said it 3 times now. And we have the original SH MonsterArts Mecha Godzilla Heisei. So I'm going to leave this up to a vote for the next review. What do you want to see? You want to see me tackle the Emergence version of 1964, or would you like me to tackle the Mecha Godzillas next? Let me know in the comment section below. Put your vote down in there. Here he is with the SH MonsterArts Godzilla 2000 and the 1995 Burning Godzilla. Here we have him with the SH MonsterArts 1974 Mecha Godzilla, as well as the SH Figuarts Sevengar from Ultraman Z. And last but not least, here we have him with a Shadow Clone SH Figuarts Bolton and Ultraman A-Type. Now, despite him being a basic figure out of the box, not really coming with anything else, a lot of people found this to be a disappointment. Me personally, I think y'all crazy. I personally love this figure, and I think it's a fantastic release. Granted, some paint decisions might not be the best. For example, the eyes may piss people off, as well as the lack of color on the nails and teeth and mouth. Granted, they went with a black and white grayscale color scheme for this one, so I can't really fault their decision for that. Now, in terms of picking this guy up, it was reissued once recently, and unfortunately those have all sold out as far as I'm concerned. When this guy came out originally, the typical price range was for around $65 to $70. Me personally, I thought it was a good price for him at the time. I got him as a gift, and but nowadays he typically goes for around 130, maybe 150. It's a bit steep. He's not the biggest Godzilla, but he is the OG. So if you just absolutely have to have an articulated Godzilla 1954 in your collection, you can honestly go either way. I hate to say it, but mechas might be a little more affordable and might up your alley. But me personally, I would prefer this over that one. But that's just my personal opinion. You may enjoy the NECA, and if you do, more power to you. So anyways, I hope this review was helpful and enjoyable for you all. Alright everybody, thanks for watching this one. End card will be showing up. Remember, collect everything, connect everything, and I'll see you all very soon. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed and would like to see more videos like this, hitting the like button, sharing the video, commenting, and subscribing will help us defeat the evil algorithm. And if you enjoy video games, I have a dedicated channel just for that, so I hope to see you there.